fighter to be ahead on the scorecards if, in fact, an accidental butt happens and they have to stop the fight?
No, I think Freddie really believes that. He said that.
Or at least that's the conventional wisdom. Bradley with a body shot under Pacquiao's left elbow. And another body shot there. Pacquiao lands his jab. Notoriously inaccurate with the jab.
He's getting out of it. But every time Manny throws his left hand, you watch he's getting out of balance. His left foot is coming out of balance. And that's what Bradley's planning on. He's taking time, timing him. Every time he comes in.
Watch the difficulty to see.
Every time he throws it, he's out of position after that. He's counterpunching him.
Pacquiao's so dangerous in exchanges. Even when the other guy seems to have the upper hand, he can put you on your butt in an eye blink. And at the moment, Bradley.
Hard left hand by Pacquiao down the pipe. Best punch of the round so far. Gets another straight left hand onto Bradley's jaw. Two big pops for Pacquiao.
They're the best punches of the fight. He's won the round just off of that.
Another straight left hand. I told you to watch for the straight left hand.
You see Manny land the straight left hand. Bradley didn't get back far enough. He was pulling out of range. Here he comes again. The same almost identical punch.
Punches won the round for Pacquiao. They may have.
Another hard left hand by Pacquiao.
And Bradley, and that's maybe Pacquiao's best punch. There it is again.
Body shots by Bradley. Pacquiao blocks the upstairs stuff. Bradley goes back downstairs and hammers to the ribcage.
But there
over and over.
And you're seeing the metal that got.
Bradley had his left arm clamped over Pacquiao's right arm, and Robert Byrd didn't break that.
I was really surprised that Byrd didn't catch it, and he held on to his head a long time.
Indeed. Bradley was holding and hitting. There's another good left hand by Pacquiao. This time he swept it to get it around Bradley's guard.
Bradley did a little better job at that time of getting his glove in the way, but he better do a better job than that as this fight goes on. Because the difference so far has been Pacquiao can hurt Bradley.
Pacquiao's been landing his straight left. I haven't seen Bradley try to retaliate with a straight right. There it is, and he lands one as he drives. Normally begin at 8 p.m. local time or shortly thereafter. This fight did not begin until 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. Why the delay? On a treadmill, trying to get his calves to loosen up. Another left hand for Pacquiao.
You see Pacquiao's superior firepower, but in the face of that, you see what Andre Ward, super middleweight champion, told me earlier today, which is that out of over 100 amateur fights and all his pro fights, Tim Bradley was as tough an opponent, they met in the amateurs, as he's ever faced. As tough an opponent.
And that was at 147 when they fought.
He keeps coming.
Bradley still has not demonstrated that he can stop Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand.
Said he was concentrating on taking the left hand away from Pacquiao.
And he hasn't done it. That was another straight left hand on the chin.
Well, Manny is, you can almost predict in the head position of Bradley now. He's shooting the punches right where he thinks Bradley's going to move his head at, which has been slightly to his right.
He's
to
trying.
Bradley's right.
Bradley's trying to neutralize it, but as many Pacquiao opponents find, there's really no way to prepare for his suddenness and his speed.
And as he ages, his timing. He's added timing to the arsenal.
Stop, I got you, stop.
Because he's not quite as dynamic. Body shot by Bradley and a good one.
If Bradley can survive these early and middle rounds.
Manny's punches there. See there, the little fast punches, but no power.
For Pacquiao that time, Bradley gets him back with a left hook. Pacquiao gets him with a straight left. And the way Bradley put his tongue out and mugged, you know that Pacquiao is bothering him with a straight left.
Manny Pacquiao. Jim, let me tell you something that I've observed in this fight, and that is Timothy Bradley doesn't move his head. And when you stand in front of Manny Pacquiao and your head is straight up in the air like that.
Pacquiao trying uppercuts with the left hand. Now comes across the top, lands it again. Gets in a little left inside. Bradley trying to go to the body. Gets right hook by Pacquiao as Bradley was landing a body shot.
And Bradley's getting in shots upstairs too, but as you mentioned, Jim.
Yes, he is. That's what he's doing now. He's trying to crowd him and get inside.
Trying to take away the range on that straight left hand.
Manny punches good with range. He gets good leverage when he punches in. And Bradley's trying to shorten it up and take.
Sometimes get there first.
Manny's trying to uppercut. For the last 2 rounds, he's trying to predict the way that Bradley's head is and trying to catch him with a left.
And he's predicting it pretty well right now. This is a Pacquiao flurry. The right hook lands.
Well, he's moving his head now to survive because he's hurt. He was badly wobbled there. What does Bradley do here? He doesn't want to run to just survive. He doesn't have the firepower to keep Manny off.
Bradley's trying to fight back.
Well, that's
a moment when it may
big
not be
right
the best
hand.
idea.
You see an exchange right now where they both were exchanging punches, and as I've said before, Manny is very good at catching people when they're in the exchange room because he punches and pivots back and forth very well. Nothing is landing clean except for that punch there. And it still didn't seem like it had that much of an effect, but I don't know whether...
But instead, he's trading. And trading with Manny Pacquiao is a terrible idea if you are at a power deficit. Boom, another left hand. More trading. Again, the left hand moves Bradley halfway across the ring. And Pacquiao drives him into the ropes.
Picking up a real credible opponent, and he's outclassing him.
Manny Pacquiao loves this kind of fight. This is exactly what
Bradley
he wants.
does too. Bradley just doesn't have the power, but Bradley likes this type. Here you see a tremendous left from Manny Pacquiao. It seems as if he's just physically overpowering Bradley at this stage right now. And it's just a matter of time because Bradley has not been able to...
7 pounds. Pacquiao, at age 28, was fighting. And incidentally, late flurries in several rounds were critical to him.
Bradley having a pretty good round this round so far.
Yes, but there's a minute to go. And this is what happens in the last minute, at least up to this point. Pacquiao tracking another left hand. Gets Bradley against the ropes and hits him 3 times with the left hand.
Got Bradley in the corner, just landing a lot of punches, but particularly the right hook to the body was maybe the best punch out of that whole exchange in there. And it definitely
Each and every one of these rounds. I mean, he does more damage by landing that left hand. Occasional hard right hook to the body. 6-0, Manny Pacquiao.
I mean, to be playing cat and mouse with Tim Bradley tonight just speaks at the age of 33, incidentally.
Again, Bradley choosing to trade with Pacquiao. And once again, that's a dangerous tactic against a guy who clearly has more firepower.
But, you know, this is the way Bradley's fought always. I mean, as an amateur, he's known for those exchanges like that. But he's with a guy that can punch, unlike anybody he's fought before.
He had coming into the fight, it was very persuasive for a lot of people this week, was his powerful self-belief and self-confidence. Pay-per-view card. Somebody said something disparaging about Pacquiao, and Richardson said, listen, you can knock him all you want until he touches you. When he touches you, that's when you learn how special he is.
I mean, here's Bradley still fighting as hard as he can. I think what he has to.
And Pacquiao seems to be bleeding in the mouth and may have a cut tongue. So we'll see if that becomes a factor as the fight goes on. You know, Emmanuel, if Pacquiao wants to more or less
not penetrate.
Manny can take the first half of the round off with the first 2 minutes, not sustain too much damage, and then just take over and fight for a minute at the end.
Pacquiao got him a solid right hook, and now there's the straight left again. Bradley landed a right hand. He thinks for the moment he might have bothered Pacquiao. Pacquiao has a smile on his face. Perhaps indeed Bradley earned it. Round in a while, but Bradley did almost nothing to take advantage of it. That is the language that Ernie interprets for us. There you go. That left hand landed flush by Pacquiao. 2 more punches landing on the inside. That shot was blocked. Pacquiao's gloves carefully guarding his face.
Both guys are
right
catching
down the middle
a lot
through
of
the guard.
punches.
What?
Both guys are blocking very well,
Yep.
except when they're in those wild exchanges.
Yep.
But other than that, both guys are doing very good on defense.
Yep. The difference is when Pacquiao gets one through the guard,
It's the power.
it does damage. That's exactly right.
It's the power.
Pacquiao slings the left hand over the top.
What must it be like for a champion of the world like Tim Bradley, undefeated in his prime? Catch a guy just at the right time, fight as hard as he can, and it's just not good enough.
And lose every round, which by my eyes is unmuch with 30 seconds to go, and Bradley landed a couple of good shots.
So far, Bradley's won this round, but he hasn't been able to do any damage. He did enough to win the round, Paula, but not really hurt Manny.
And interestingly, it's Bradley implementing the strategy we thought he'd implement from the beginning, which is trying to counter Pacquiao.
This would clearly appear to be Bradley's best round. Pacquiao's trying to come on now at the end, land one more big shot.
Here we see a situation which I think was the 4th round, which is where I believe Bradley hurt his right foot as he was doing all this twisting and pivoting, keeping up with Manny, which is one of Manny's specialty.
There you go.
And there it is when he twisted the right foot right there. I think that's what it's still about.
Incidentally, Emmanuel, I personally think Pacquiao's beard is a little bit on the full side, and if I were Joel Diaz, I might have demanded that it be shaved.
Yeah. But you know,
Right hook by Pacquiao. Left hand by Pacquiao. 47 seconds to go in the round. He seems to be looking for a KO here in the 11th.
both guys has great coordination and footwork. And that's why it's hard for anyone to land 2 solid punches in a row. Unbelievable balance on both of the guys.
Well, if we reach the final bell, it'll be the 5th consecutive Pacquiao fight to go the distance, and still we talk about his remarkable punching power. Bottom line is good fighters like Tim Bradley, if they want not to get knocked out, can do a pretty good job of avoiding it.
But I still think he punches good. I think Manny's still one of the best punchers in the game. He punches through his targets. Bradley's a tough guy, and after that, maybe a 3rd or 4th round, he hasn't been able to land solid on Bradley with 2 or 3 punches. Bradley's dipping, twisting, turning, moving, ducking, turning around, not getting hit solid with 2 punches.
I'll tell you something else.
See that?
Not only is Pacquiao moving Bradley more with his shots than Bradley moving Pacquiao, but this is the hardest I've ever seen Bradley throw punches. This is Bradley primed for the moment, throwing the hardest shots he can and not hurting Pacquiao with them.
Exactly. But you can't grow power overnight. You have it or you don't. And to some degree, it's a mystery why some fighters have power and others who appear as though they should don't. Emmanuel, to a certain degree, you just can't figure it out. Again.
No, you can improve punching power a lot, but some guys are just born that way. I call it heavy-handed. Just
how about heavy calves?
Yeah,
Look at those calves on Pacquiao.
The biggest I've
to
ever saw
Bradley.
in proportion to his body. It's unbelievable.
Well, there's no question that's where the power comes from. The driving legs, his ability to commit, his willingness to risk to throw those shots, all of it conspires to make him a great prize fighter.
One of the greatest who ever lived. Every generation has their guys, and this one, it's Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, of course, and hopefully one day we get to see that fight.
Hope springs eternal in the boxing fan's heart.
Meanwhile, Bradley's still throwing punches like he means it.
And winning this round at this point, in my opinion.
Here is Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand. One of the dominant weapons in boxing, perhaps the #1 offensive weapon in boxing over the course of the past 8 or 10 years. Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand, Emmanuel Stewart dominated this fight.
But after the first few rounds, he never could land it consistently. You know, he could land it every once in a while, but usually, most of the time, Bradley was moving away from the punches. And he never could land it after these first two right here. The rest of the punches, he couldn't.
C.J. Ross scores it 115-113 for Bradley. And Dwayne Ford scores it 115-113 to the winner by split decision. And new WBO welterweight champion of the world, the Desert Storm, Timothy